I recently reviewed ASUS's ROG Zephyrus G16 gaming laptop, and overall, I thought it was quite a nice machine. But what if I told you there's an even better version for content creators that fixes some of its shortcomings? This is ASUS's ProArt P16, and it's basically using the same chassis as the ASUS Zephyrus G16, but with some welcome changes. ASUS have sponsored this video, so I can show you all about it. Like the G16, the P16's build quality feels very nice, as it's using an all-aluminum CNC chassis. It feels solid, and the new nano black finish looks super clean, with the lid only having a small logo down the bottom corner. So a more professional look compared to the G16's slash lighting. The G16 was the smallest 16-inch gaming laptop we've ever tested, and the P16 is actually slightly smaller still. It's one of the lightest 16-inch laptops we've ever tested, even with the charger included, making it a very portable package. It's pretty crazy that it weighs less than a smaller 14-inch laptop. The P16 has a beautiful OLED screen with excellent color gamut, high color accuracy, perfect contrast with deep blacks, and good brightness. Perfect for creators. Unlike the G16's 1440p OLED screen, the P16 has more pixels and goes up to 4K. Unfortunately, the higher resolution limits it to a 60Hz refresh rate, but I'd say that's an acceptable trade-off for creators. It's a touchscreen too, and with ASUS's included Pen 2.0, artists who are more talented than me can enjoy the 4096 pressure sensitivity levels. The chance of OLED burn-in is reduced with a number of built-in mitigations that are enabled by default, but if those aren't enough, ASUS's warranty includes a screen exchange if burn-in occurs during the warranty period. But there's way more to this new laptop than just the screen. This is the first laptop I've ever had with AMD's new Zen 5 processor. Combined with NVIDIA's RTX 4070 graphics, 64 gigs of RAM, two 2TB SSDs, and that OLED screen, it's got plenty of power for those who need performance. That new Ryzen AI 9 HX370 CPU is a 12-core 24-thread part, with 4 Zen 5 cores and 8 Zen 5C cores, which are basically lower-powered cores, kind of like Intel's E-cores. CPU performance was around 7% faster compared to the Intel-based Zephyrus, and performance is only better from larger and heavier laptops. Performance lowers if we unplug the charger, but it still runs well. The P16 still maintains its lead over the Intel-based Zephyrus G16, but it's very close to other laptops with the same Core Ultra 9 185H processor. As for some actual creator workloads, performance was good in Adobe Photoshop. This test tends to rely on single-core performance, and it's only beaten by bigger, heavier laptops with more powerful processors. The P16 basically matches the G16 in Adobe Premiere, so it doesn't seem to matter too much whether you go for Intel or AMD in this workload. And both aren't too bad compared to other RTX 4070 laptops, considering they're thinner and lighter. The difference compared to the Intel-based G16 was only minor in DaVinci Resolve, but this test benefits more from more GPU power. The P16 maxes out at RTX 4070 graphics, but the Intel-based Zephyrus G16 does have 4080 and even 4090 options, if you're after more GPU power. Although not designed as a gaming laptop, the P16 specs have no problem running the latest games well. Performance is very close to the Zephyrus G16 in Cyberpunk 2077, despite the P16 technically having a slightly lower maximum GPU power limit. Even at 1440p, the P16 still maintains 60 FPS at high settings, and that's before using upscaling features like DLSS or FSR to boost FPS. Now, the P16 uses soldered memory, just like the Zephyrus G16, so it can never be upgraded. One of the big issues that I had with the RTX 4070 G16 was that in the US, it only goes up to 16 gigs of RAM, but the P16 on the other hand goes right up to 64 gigs, which is ideal for content creators. Honestly, I think having this option of a higher capacity kind of negates the negatives of having it soldered. 64 gigs is plenty for most people. It's how much RAM I've got in my desktop, and it'll be more than enough for my video editing work for years. So in that case, I would take the thinner and lighter design that's possible due to soldered memory. Not to mention, the soldered memory runs at faster speeds than SODIMM sticks too, so better performance. Otherwise inside, we've got the battery down the front, two PCIe Gen 4 M.2 storage slots that both fit double-sided drives, and upgradable Wi-Fi 7 card. Mine came with two 2TB SSDs installed for 4TB of total storage space, and performance was decent. SD card speeds are alright, but I know my V90 card is capable of more than double these speeds in other laptops. The card does not click in for security and sticks out a bit, so you'll have to be careful not to bump it. Wi-Fi performance is good in the sense that it's faster than gigabit Ethernet, so it's plenty for most people. But the MediaTek card wasn't competitive compared to most other Wi-Fi 7 based laptops that I've tested. ASUS are currently investigating my results. If anything changes, I'll update in a comment below. But the P16 also comes with a gigabit Ethernet dongle if you want a wired connection instead, as the laptop is too thin for its own Ethernet port. Otherwise, we've got a great port selection, with charging over USB Type-C supported on both sides, and the latest DisplayPort 2.1 on the left for supporting monitors at higher resolutions and refresh rates than ever before. Battery life was good, lasting for 8 hours and 39 minutes during our video playback test, and just slightly behind the Intel-based Zephyrus G16. Intel's Media Lake chips have been a nice improvement compared to Intel's more powerful HX processors, but AMD laptops still do well here. The ASUS software gives you the option of enabling battery care mode, which limits the maximum charge level to 80%, helping improve battery longevity. You could also enable eco mode if you want to completely turn off the more power-hungry NVIDIA graphics. There's no muck switch, but that's less important since Microsoft's Queso update. The keyboard has white backlighting and a nice clicky feel while typing. It still has 1.7mm of key travel like the G16, but the font printed on the keys is a bit less gamery looking. It also has the new Copilot shortcut key for opening Microsoft's built-in AI assistant, and with AMD's XDNA2 NPU providing up to 50 TOPS, it meets Microsoft's requirements for a Copilot Plus PC. There are front-facing speakers on either side of the keyboard, and just like the G16, they're some of the best I've ever heard from a laptop, clear with a nice amount of bass. The touchpad is large, smooth, and works nicely. ASUS's DialPad is built into the top left corner, and you enable or disable it by swiping in from the top right corner. It's active when the light's on. Put simply, the DialPad works with popular content creator applications like Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, Lightroom, Illustrator, and After Effects, allowing you to quickly swap between different tools and make adjustments, like brush sizes, zoom in and out, or undo and redo changes. And if you don't have all those apps, don't worry, because the P16 comes with a 3-month Adobe subscription and 6-month subscription to CapCut for video editing. The DialPad's real power comes from the dial and control panel software, where you can choose specific actions you want to use in different software applications, allowing you to customize it exactly how you want for your workflow. You can even use it in Windows to quickly dial up or down the screen brightness or system volume. Very cool. If you happen to drag your finger over the DialPad while using the touchpad normally, it just functions normally as a touchpad, so the DialPad doesn't get in the way. There's a 1080p camera above the screen, and with IR for Windows Hello Face Unlock, you can wake it up from sleep and get straight back into work without delay. The camera quality is pretty standard for a laptop, but the audio sounds better compared to most others. The included ASUS software gives us different performance profiles, so we can choose to get more performance at the expense of more fan noise if needed. You can easily swap between the performance modes at any time with the Function and F shortcut. CPU performance is better in the higher modes, as expected and shown here in Cinebench. Higher modes allow the processor to use more power, but I'm not actually finding more power to give all that much more performance with these new Zen 5 processors. You can absolutely still get most of the performance with less power, which will mean a cooler laptop. The internal temperatures of the CPU and GPU were cool when sitting there idle, or with a combined CPU and GPU stress test running, which aims to represent a worst-case full-load scenario. Seriously, barely reaching 80 degrees Celsius is what I consider to be cold when it comes to laptop testing under load. CPU clock speeds are able to run highest in the lowest whisper mode, but the trade-off is the GPU doesn't clock as high. The NVIDIA control panel says the 4070 graphics can boost up to 105 watts with dynamic boost, but with the CPU loaded up at the same time, the limit seems to be 85 watts in performance mode. So not quite a full-powered 4070, but not far off. The keyboard was still fairly cool to the touch regardless of the performance mode used, even with our heavy stress test running for hours. Air comes in through the keyboard, so the left and right sides always felt cool while the middle only felt a little warm. It does feel hot right up the back, but you don't need to touch above the keyboard, so it's not an issue in practice. But what about fan noise? Let's have a listen. It was completely silent at idle in the lowest whisper mode, and quiet during light work. I almost never noticed the fans unless I was running a heavy workload. It gets louder in the higher modes, as expected, but even worst case, it's quieter when compared to most other 16-inch laptops we've tested with 4070 graphics. So overall, I'm really impressed with this laptop. Yeah, I know, it's a sponsored video, but I already said in the review of the Zephyrus G16 that I liked that, except for the soldered memory. But the ProArt P16 mitigates that and improves it for content creators like me. It's that combination of epic OLED touchscreen with included stylus, good CPU and GPU performance, NPU hardware for accelerating future AI workloads, SD card slot, plenty of fast memory, great build quality, professional look and design, and good battery life make the ASUS ProArt P16 the perfect device for content creators. Whether you're a digital artist, graphic designer, video editor, 3D modeler, or something in between, the P16 delivers. Honestly, I would love for this thing to become my new video editing laptop for going to events like CES. It would be perfect for working on the go. You can get more information about the P16 with the link below, so check that out for all the details. And I've also got ASUS's new Zephyrus G16, but with AMD's Zen 5 processor. So basically the gaming version of this laptop. Make sure that you're subscribed for that upcoming video.